Hello, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about why shaming people, especially body shaming, does not work or help. I grew up in a farm, so I was not a obese child by any stretch of the imagination. I was very muscular, trim, but I was big for my age. That's my genetics. However, all growing up as a Gen Xer in the 70s and 80s, everybody told me I was too big, I was fat, yada yada. You've heard it before. The truth was, I wasn't. I even heard I was big boned. I wasn't big boned. I wasn't fat. I was in shape. I could hustle on a farm. But people that said that to me were often about 90 to 100 pounds. I wasn't 90 to 100 pounds. And I'm glad I wasn't 90 to 100 pounds. That's not insulting somebody who is, though. My own grandmother was 90 pounds, soaking wet. She was under 5 feet tall. And she was always super skinny. She hardly ate. I called it eating like a bird. I was hungry at the end of a day. I wanted food. I worked hard. Just imagine working a farm, what that involves. As I got older, though, people would say to me, "Oh, you're putting on some weight. Oh, you're packing on some pounds." Yeah, I did. I gained weight. But the way they went about it was not kind at all. They used to say things to me like, "You're as big as a barn. You sound like an elephant going up the stairs. Stop prancing around with your hooves." Things like that. These are true things people said to me. To somebody who's super skinny, yeah, I probably look like a cow, and that's why they said the things they did. But that doesn't mean I was. That doesn't mean I wasn't in shape. That doesn't mean I wasn't healthy. That was their perspective, their opinion. So in my early 20s, after I had put on some weight, my grandfather no longer owned the farm. I wasn't working the farm anymore. But eventually I had to get to the point to see it for myself. Regardless of how they spoke to me or regardless of what they said to me, I got to the point where I saw it for myself. And that was the defining moment in my life. It wasn't because they called me names. It wasn't because they were mean and cruel. It wasn't because they shamed me. It was because something in me said, you know what? I do want to lose some weight. I think I'm overweight. I want to get back in shape. I haven't ridden my bike in years since I was a teenager. I no longer work a farm. I'm no longer out there doing the farm things that helped me achieve the toned body I once had. So I started going to a gym, working out. I actually had started going to a gym years before. I think I was like 18 because in town here we had a woman-only gym. They weren't co-ed back then like they are today. So I joined this woman-only gym and I did an aerobics class and I loved it. And then I would go home after and do aerobics. And I moved out when I was 17. So imagine back then, this is what I was doing. I was still a kid though, if you think about it, and I lost a lot of weight. But then I had children. When I had children, I gained a lot of weight. Call it hormones, call it genetics, call it too many ginger snaps because I had morning sickness. And that was true for both of my kids, and I had them a year apart. So after I had my kids, I didn't have a car by choice. I could have had a car, but I didn't want one. And I used to walk my babies everywhere in a double stroller. I chose to walk with my children, and I taught them things every time we went out for a walk. My grandfather taught me little sayings, like when the leaf of a white oak tree is the size of a mouse's ear. I think it's a white oak, pretty sure. It's time to plant the corn, things like that. So I was able to teach them things like that. And one time on our walk home, there was a little monarch butterfly that was on the sidewalk. Something had happened to it. And I picked it up and I put it on my little daughter's finger. She was about 2 at the time. And she carried it home, and then we were able to raise that butterfly. They wouldn't have had those experiences if I hadn't walked, and I walked and lost a bunch of weight. So I got all my pregnancy weight off. I was once in shape again. But then, fast forward, my kids are in school, and I was volunteering to do some charitable work, and somebody took a picture of me. I didn't even realize I had gained weight. My face had changed. My body had changed. I couldn't believe myself. What had happened to me? I wasn't walking anymore, and I gained weight. And it crept on me, And over time, I didn't even notice it was happening. I did spend some time trying to lose the weight. I had 2 little kids that were in school that I had to help. And honestly, weight loss was not a priority for me. You have kids, you finish off their peanut butter and jelly because they didn't eat the whole thing and you don't want to waste food. Or you no longer do the floor playtime because your kids are in school now. So instead, you sneak in those breaks that you never had before when they were toddlers. You sneak in that couch break, watching your favorite soap or TV show, and you get your little chocolates out, because that's what I did. But at what cost? And for me, it meant I paid the price with weight. Some people don't. Some people have good genes and they don't gain weight. Now, the problem with me, it wasn't a vanity thing at all. It was disappointing that I had gained weight once again, and I was mad at myself, like, oh, man. But at the same time, my own fault. I love those Hershey Nugget candies. Oh, that 5-pound bag at the wholesale club came home with me every week and went in a bowl on my desk. I didn't work outside of the home at that time. I was a homemaker and a stay-home mom. But the candy bowl was there, so it was my own fault. Nobody else's. Nobody forced that chocolate down my throat, but that's how I coped. I used chocolate as a coping mechanism. But at some point in my life, I realized that family genetics, we got some serious issues going on. You know, heart problems, diabetes, just to name a few. And I'm not a medical doctor. This is not medical advice. That's my disclaimer here. I have to say that. But what I'm saying is my own experience, my own family experience. You can't look at somebody and know whether they're diabetic or not based on their weight. And that's very important, because when I was growing up, I was told the opposite. If I ate too much and got fat, I would be diabetic. Now, I don't even like the word fat, okay? So scratch that right out of your minds and your vocabulary going forward. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up today is because I've been seeing a whole bunch of situations out there online. So I just want to put this out there and give you guys some directed advice and kind advice. I think the older generation, when they say that, because just like my grandmother and grandfather and mother, when they say things like that, it's out of concern and caring. Even when they call you the size of a house, it's actually a place of concern and caring. They don't say it like, you know, in a kind way. Nobody wants to be called a house. But to them, that is caring. That is compassion. They're trying to say to you, hey, you know, I wouldn't let my friend sit around with spaghetti on her face, so why would I let you be overweight? Not all of us have the genetics of a 90-pound person, because I certainly do not. I am not diabetic. I'm not pre-diabetic. I once was pre-diabetic, though, okay? I'm coming from a place of understanding and heartfelt compassion. That's where this is really coming from. So when I see people body shaming others, I understand the generational differences in where it comes from. Like I said, the older group of people, they really do it in a place of concern. They're not doing it to mock you or make fun of you or make you sad. It feels that way, though. I know, because it happened to me. So I know how it feels. There are people my age also out there saying, oh, well, all you have to do is this. Oh, all you have to do is a carnivore diet. Oh, all you have to do is this. And let me be very clear here. Just because it works for one person does not mean it works for all. We are all different. So you have metabolism, family genetics, genetic mutations. Everything makes us up, and we're all different. So it's not really fair to say, well, I am 100 pounds, so you can do it. You're just too lazy to do it. No. If you've ever seen me in action, I pretty much do more than somebody who's 100 pounds. So don't give me that I'm lazy. No. I'm not going to beat myself up over it, and neither should anybody else. If for whatever reason, and it doesn't matter because it's nobody's business but yours, people are body shaming people more today than ever. And it's not right. No matter what, it's your body. You have to be comfortable in your own skin. If you're comfortable, then ignore people unless you want to lose weight because you want to get your heart healthy, or maybe you're pre-diabetic like I was, and you want to, stop eating the sugar and bring those sugar numbers down. The key is when you're ready, if you need to lose weight, you'll put your mind to it. And I have faith in that. I don't have to preach to you about the chocolate you eat or about the cupcake you just picked up, about the Twinkie on the side table. I don't have to preach that because I know when you're ready, you'll do it because that's what happened to me. I didn't get to the point where I was just like, ugh, I can't fit into my jeans anymore. I got to the point where, wow, this is an eye-opener, and if I don't do something, it's going to really affect my health. It's your body. It's your choice. And when you're ready, you might stop eating the sugar too, and you might make some dietary changes to your lifestyle that will help you achieve your goals. Just because I want to lose weight doesn't mean I want to be skinny. Somebody else might say, well, I want to be a size 2. That's your choice, and that's your right. So no matter the reason, and if you're like me and you find that the struggle's real, and no matter what you do, you even live on salad for a year and nothing budges, nothing works. Just know, not everybody is built the same way. And just because there are people out there that have to body shame and fat shame people, that is not a reflection on you. That is a reflection on them. Thank you so much for watching today. Take care.